This is a book called Beat Depression, written by David Hinds in 2001. It reads on the back, "When you're depressed, the last thing you feel like is the effort of reading. But this very supportive book by an author who has suffered from depression and come through it will really make a difference, moving the reader from hopelessness to optimism. Beat Depression does not try to explain the condition or theorize, like most of the books which try to help, but goes straight to the source, taking the reader step by step to relief and happiness. What's happening when you're depressed? Why me? Step-by-step strategies to heal your mind and emotions, self-help therapies, and learning to enjoy life." Contents Introduction. This book is for people who are depressed. It is written from the depressed person's point of view, but provides insights and information for carers, friends, and relatives of the depressed. Let's assume you are depressed and in need of help. I have been where you are now. What you need is release from your all-consuming feelings of misery, hopelessness, and isolation. You have just picked up the book that is going to make this happen for you. Life is going to get better, and you are going to have peace of mind. Chapter 1 invites you to take the first step towards recognizing, identifying, and gaining release from your condition. One tick in the appropriate box is all I ask of you. No matter how depressed you are right now, you can do it. Don't worry about defacing this book. These pages will have proved their worth when you are fully recovered and enjoying life as never before. Part 1, Depressed. Chapter 1, You are not alone. I have been where you are now. I will write for you and you will read for me. Today is the day we get started. Depression, like the common cold, is an illness that can affect anyone, including the rich and famous. 1 in 5 of us will be affected by the condition at some stage in our lives. Like most other illnesses, when correctly diagnosed, it can be treated successfully. Depression, although frightening, is never permanent. It does not reduce our value as human beings. Are you depressed? If so, how depressed? Let's begin to find out. ... In order to ascertain the best and safest way forward, you must decide how depressed you are on a scale of 0 to 5. Your choice should reflect how you have been feeling generally over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Don't worry if your selection is not quite right. Give yourself permission to adopt a trial and error approach. We can always put things right later when we understand more about your prevailing mood, your circumstances, your feelings, your psychological makeup, and the overall structure of your thinking patterns. Please go ahead now and tick the box below that seems most applicable to you. Options are 0, not depressed, 1, mildly depressed, 2, moderately depressed, 3, severely depressed, 4, extremes of highs and lows, 5 is suicidal. It may be that you will revise your choice later, but this is a valuable starting point. If you pick 0 above, perhaps you are a loved one. 0 is not depressed. A loved one, family member, caring friend, or professional acquaintance of someone who you believe may be suffering from depression. If this is the case, it is probable you will read this book in a different way from a depressed person. You will be in a position to heighten your awareness and gain valuable insights to this much misunderstood condition. Number 1 to 5 is mildly depressed through to suicidal. If you have ticked 1 to 5, let me begin by reassuring you. Due to a new generation of therapies and the widespread availability of non-addictive and highly effective drugs, the chances of recovering from depression quickly and safely have greatly increased. Your degree of depression will be dealt with in the succeeding chapters. Depression is best understood by observing its effects. The most obvious sign of depression is a persistent downturn in mood. Depression has a way of creeping up on you and dulling your feelings. You begin to lose interest in what is going on around you. You may feel sad, alone, and isolated, and cry for no apparent reason. You may assume a vacant, emotionless facial expression, and you may feel guilty about things which happened in the past. Sometimes, with a different form of depression, feelings of sadness can alternate with sensations of elation or excitement, but this may be a mask for unhappiness. In everyday language, we have a tendency to speak of feeling depressed when our transitory downturn in mood simply relates to a routine or a minor setback. Perhaps the prospect of returning to work on a Monday morning after a particularly enjoyable weekend. On the other hand, depression as an illness implies a severe emotional disturbance, the source of which may or may not be traceable to external causes. We all feel down from time to time. Sadness is a normal part of life. Happiness would hold little meaning for us if we were untouched by sadness. But when sadness takes an almost permanent hold of us and seldom returns to joy, the likely cause is clinical depression, also known as major depression. No one is immune from depression. It strikes people from all social groups, all countries, and all cultural backgrounds. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience depression in their lifetime. A staggering 340 million people are affected in the world today. Book is written in 2001. The death toll from depression is formidable. More people commit suicide every year than die in road accidents around the world. Statistically, at least 10% of the clinically depressed, whether diagnosed as such or not, will take their own lives. The impact of that one irreversible action on their families, friends, and loved ones will be enormous. Let's make further progress by examining where you are right now. It will be illuminating and helpful if you tick the boxes alongside any of the following statements that you believe are applicable to you. Once again, don't be afraid of making mistakes, and bear in mind that your choice should once again reflect how you have been feeling over the last 2 or 3 weeks. It is a general picture of your state of mind that we are forming here, not a medical diagnosis. Box question says, much of the time do you? Options are A, feel sad, B, feel helpless, C, feel tired, D, feel guilty about things, E, feel life is pointless. F, feel as if you are moving in slow motion. G, feel anxious or cry a lot. H, feel pessimistic or worthless. What's after H? I, have difficulty concentrating. And then J, have difficulty making decisions. Then the next question would be, lately have you, with a question mark, A, isolated yourself from others or wanted to. B, lost interest in things that used to give you pleasure. C, experienced problems at work or in school. D, experienced problems at home. E, lost your sex drive. F, lost your appetite or gained weight. G, felt restless and irritable. H, experienced persistent headaches, stomach or backaches, muscle or joint pains. I, had difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep or getting up in the morning. J, consumed more alcohol than usual. K, taken more mood-altering drugs than usual. H, I, J, K, L, this one is the last one, engaged in risky behaviour by not wearing a seatbelt or crossing streets without looking. Then you've got one more box, which has a question. It says, lately, have you been thinking about A, death, B, your own funeral, and C, committing suicide? That's 3 boxes. The exercise you have just completed can have the effect of helping to distinguish between depression and normal feelings of being under the weather. If you have ticked 4 or more boxes in total, the indications are that you may well be depressed. Have you been to a doctor? Question mark. To avoid unnecessary suffering and disruption to your life, I believe you should consult your doctor for a professional diagnosis and an opinion. You know from your participation in the self-screening test what is likely to be the matter with you. 10 minutes with your GP will confirm or disprove this. Knowing precisely what is wrong is a prerequisite to overcoming any of life's dilemmas, certainly this one. In chapter 2, let's find out what is happening to you.